But if we want, we can. I think it comes to the, are we willing to? Because 5 years is a long time, to be honest. Yes, it's debatable. Yeah. And I mean, it's just to be fair, I think what you're saying is right. But also, if I think about it, 5 years is a long time to like change everything. And actually be intentional about it. Because even if you don't change, people can see, people always see and feel the effect that, oh, there's that intention. Even look at Moi Kibaki. He got there 5 years and everything actually felt like anyone knew this is it. Free education. There was more access to, amenities, roads improved. So you could see it in 5 years. And then the next 5 years, he made a vision for the next maybe 25 years or so. So we have to have that intention that, yes, maybe we might not do everything at a go, but there are plans. Like you're saying now, at least we are not where we were 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 30 years ago. That said, so you finish with this process of, you said Katiba, right?
Katiba, Article 19.
Article 19.
Yes.
Now you are getting experienced.
I'm getting experience now. Yes, I'm getting experience. So then I joined an institution called Kelin. That now deals with health and human rights. Yes. So then right to health. And by that time we are developing the health bill. It deals with right to health. And by this, if I remember well, you have women as well, women and land rights. Issues to do with TB, issues to do with the right to choice and the controversial aspects of it, whether you are allowed to legalize abortion, for instance. How do we protect the key, what we call the key and vulnerable populations? Yes. So during this period, again, very significant events, very significant engagements. Take, for instance, the case that was won in court, dealing with the issues TB, for instance, where before then, having TB was criminalized.
Yes.
Yeah. So you get TB and then you're closed in some room.
Yes, I remember back in the day when I used to live in. I was born, raised a couple of years in Isiolo.
Yeah.
We used to see manyatas. We used to call them manyatas. So each person had a small thatched house where they could just be put, and then they were separated. I think it's because of how infectious TB is. And then they could be taken medication there with people who are well protected.
Exactly.
So it felt isolated. Actually, even you could die out of solitude.
Yeah. Violating your right to dignity completely. So there's that. It's almost criminalized. And then you are given drugs. You have to take them within a particular.
And there are so many of them.
And then now, if you fail to take the drugs, then it becomes a problem. You are arrested for failing to take the drugs. And then now you are taken to jail where there aren't enough facilities for you as someone who's a patient. So it actually beats the purpose of it. And it continues spreading the infection. Yes. So then now some of the things, and that helps with research again as far as human rights is concerned. Because some of the complaints that the TB patients had was that, one, like you said, there are very many. And then secondly, it makes them very, very tired, And then when you get tired, then if you're the breadwinner, then you're not able to provide, and you're not able to work. So you're not refusing to take medication because now you want to give TB. But you're doing it. It's looking at the circumstances that lead to you not taking your medication.
True.
And if that is the case, then is it easier to lobby and work around simplifying that regimen? And is it easier to find ways of supporting the victims as opposed to criminalizing that? And in the event that it has to remain criminalized, then the facilities as well. If you're going to be taken to jail, and we know the situation, how it is, or remand,
True.
we know how it is.
Yeah.
Then what facilities are being established to ensure that we are not beating the purpose of dealing with the infection.
Yeah.
So those were some of the conversations, and one of the wins to not criminalize TB.
Yes.
The other significant health and human rights case that took place during the time is forced sterilization. Forced sterilization.
Why would you be sterilized?
Different reasons, and justifications by those who engage in sterilization at that particular time. But the unfortunate incident was that you have women who, because
this was particularly for women.
Yes, particularly for women, because now their poverty is criminalized.
Okay.
In a manner where there are particular clinics that used to practice this. Involuntary. The word is involuntary.
People didn't know they are getting sterilized.
Involuntary sterilization.
Wait a minute. So that story is true?
Yes, involuntary sterilization.
Is it still happening?
Dealt with. I think it was largely dealt with.
But it's happening in a low level.
I can't say for certain. I can't say for certain. But then at the time when we were dealing with the case, there were instances and evidence towards that there were women who were involuntarily sterilized. So because of your poverty and being HIV positive again at the same time. So you have institutions where you are going to get medication. Yes. One, you have HIV and then you're poor. So then now where you go to get medication and where you go to get the milk, because you cannot breastfeed.
Yes.
So you have to be given certain supplements for your child. But then certain procedures are done. You know, when you're going perhaps to get your second child, or you're going to medicine, and you're not told exactly
what is being
done to you. You're not told, so it's voluntary.
So
you are told in the event you want to continue getting the medication,
you must do this.
Then you must do this, because you see, one, you're poor. Secondly, how are you going to feed your children? Bad, all this.
Oh my God.
So it there are women who underwent the procedures. They did not agree, or they were coerced. So that becomes a legal issue, because one, you've taken away my right to choice. You've interfered with my sexual and reproductive rights. Because then you've interfered with the right to family, my right to association. Because in the event that now I cannot give birth, culturally, for us, it becomes an issue. I went to hospital, I had my first child. Fine, I had HIV. I had my first child, and then I cannot give birth anymore. So it becomes an issue. So that was also one of the cases relating to health and human rights that we needed to deal with. And then the other parts about women and land rights, especially affecting widows. And from my side of the world, where you get disinherited the moment you lose your husband, it becomes an issue. So then how do you protect women's rights? How do you protect their land rights? And how do you protect their children in a way that still gives them agency as women, as human beings, as citizens? And then the other issues we dealt with also are protecting key populations. And the key populations here are the LGBTQ and sex workers community, protecting their rights as well. How do they access services? How do they access justice?
This is through clean. You said
clean.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot happens within our society and within the sub societies. That now it takes institutions like those and individuals in that sector to protect, to promote human rights and to preserve human dignity. Because one of the issues, again, if I could, that the institution dealt with, or that we were faced with at that particular time. As a country, we respect the right to choice.
Yes.
We respect the right to choice. And you shouldn't be discriminated against based on your
choice.
Based on your choices or your lifestyle, or how you live your life. And so then it gets to instances where having acknowledged that I'm gay, for instance, then I need access to medication. But there aren't enough hospitals to provide me with that kind of service. You know, if I could use the word friendly services, because say you have an infection, how do you, are there enough hospitals where you can actually go to someone and say, I'm having this kind of problem without being stigmatized, without being discriminated against. And then now in the event that you're not attended to, then it beats the purpose because then it gets to a point where you have individuals within society who are not really catered for. So that was health and human rights for me at that juncture. In a nutshell.
Okay.
And then I got exhausted with civil society, if I'd say that. And not for anything else, but because I wanted something new, and I wanted something.
How long had you spent with them?
2010 to 2017.
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. Yeah. That was a long time. But I liked it because within those 7 years, I think I had done so many things, participated in, had very many encounters, varied encounters, that now I think contributed a lot to who I am as a professional.
Yeah.
And contributed a lot to the knowledge and expertise that I have right now. Because otherwise it would have been 7 years in one institution.
True.
Doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then I lose out on the right to information. I lose out on the health. I lose out on constitution and all. So I liked the diversity of issues again. Yeah. And I liked the dynamic nature of the civil society. Yeah. Then an opportunity arose. A friend in our WhatsApp group.
I want your friends. I want your friends.
They're awesome.
Hey, I'm like a friend recommended, then a friend.
Then a friend said this and that. So a friend in our law school WhatsApp group said that he knew someone who was looking for a commentator for a political show. And a commentator for a political show. And I said, why not? And I appeared.
These are well-paid jobs or more?
No, it was, that you can go to the telly as a political analyst.
Oh, okay.
As a guest.
How does that work, by the way? I'm curious.
Just the same way it worked.
You just show up.
Of course, you have to be invited.
Okay.
Yeah. You get.
Do you get paid or?
No. Unless now you have a contract and an agreement.
Oh, there are those who have you have to show up. This what you do.
Yeah, they're actually those on contractual basis where you can only appear for this station, for this show.
Oh, okay.
And for this number of hours.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are others who have. So that opportunity came up and I was super excited because I was looking for something new and I said yes.
This is 2017.
This late 2016.
Okay.
Late 2016. And I said, why not? So I make my first appearance. And because dealing with all these governance and human rights and constitutional issues also exposes you to the political aspects of the country. And during this process, I realized that I really enjoyed issues politics and issues governance. Yeah. So I said, why not? Because, I'd been following on what's happening and I was very keen on what's going on around my country. So I said, yes. And so I appear on the show, make the first appearance. The first appearance turns to the 10th one and the 15th one. And it just went on and on. And then I got BBC and I got CGTN. So I did a lot of the local, regional, and a little bit of international. So it was really nice. So it is during this period that I also became engaged.
That is BBC Africa or BBC?
Not the BBC International
one. The BBC Africa. Okay.
Yeah, Africa one. Yeah. So it's during this period that
where are they located in Africa?
They have, it's close to the KBC offices. I forget the building.
They have some studios there, right?
Yeah, they have the studios there. So then so it's during this period that then I get I get involved in the Jubilee campaigns.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because now it was 2017, 2016, 2017. The campaigns were just starting up. So then I get involved in the Jubilee campaigns, promoting the manifesto and promoting the candidates. Because still it was Uhuru at that particular time. So it was really, really exciting for me. And I think that's the point I realized I enjoy leadership, issues leadership, issues governance. And then now that gelled with the communication, the communication aspect. So that now it's both verbal and written. Yeah. So it was a good period. So
this is when you started writing speeches, or after they won?
After they won now. After they won now. But
the controversial win, as they say.
As they say.
But they won, right?
As they say.
Yes.
Because it even went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court pronounced itself. So, as they say.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so then it's during this period that I also got nominated for position of member of parliament. We were about 12. Then IBC took less based on the number of representatives that the party had in parliament, National Assembly at that particular. So with that,
did you say opposition?
With the number of positions.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
or seats.
Yeah. Like now you're in the government. Now you're being appointed on the. Okay, the positions.
Yeah, the number of positions and the number of seats it's won.
Yeah.
So anyway, that now marked my political season, I'd say. And with Jubilee coming to power, having been in the campaign trail, and a very good understanding of the manifesto, and believing in the leaders and what they do and what they stand for and their value systems and what they want for the country, and the opportunity for now joining the presidential strategic communication team came about, and I was excited, and I joined, and I now got the opportunity to work as a speechwriter. And so that was in 2018.
Yes.
2018, I'd say.
Yeah.
And that too was a very enriching experience.
You're the ones who writes those cards that the president shuffles? Or how does it work?
It's
I've meant to ask that, but now I have the right person to ask. How does this speech writing work? Like, take us through the process. Maybe in future I might pursue that as...
Oh, you'd better. You'd better. So, again, it starts from the person you're writing for.
Okay.
And
you have to understand what they stand for.
And of course, then understanding it is this is a leader who has a vision for the country. And his vision is ABC. And the vision then was the Big Four agenda. So within this Big Four agenda, he'd like to achieve, say, manufacturing, increase manufacturing in the country, enhance UC, build this number of houses. So having that understanding of who you're writing for and why you're writing, then you put that information in a way that then communicates with, communicates with the people he intends to communicate to.
And do you do this alone, or there's a team?
No, it's a team.
Okay.
Of course, it's a team. Okay. Because take, for instance, as the president, his vision is to build 10 houses. I would say that.
Yes.
10 houses in 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then now these houses have been built because that was a presidential directive that this is what we need. And there are various institutions that now are responsible for delivering on that presidential vision, delivering on what the president wants and implementing that.
Yeah.
So the 10 houses have been built. So he wants to go and communicate to the people that these 10 houses have been built.
Yeah.
So then you have to work with the people from the ministry, for instance, the Ministry of Housing, as it was called, Ministry of Housing, and then Planning and Housing. And then now they provide you with the information, because my background is in law. Yes. As a speechwriter, you're not going to say that you have all the information from everywhere, everything. Yeah. So those charged with implementation must provide information.
And it has to be factual.
And it has to be factual because there's the president. You cannot tell the president that 10 houses were built and
they are nowhere to be seen. But that has happened at some extent.
And they were nowhere to be seen. Because that's the directive he gave. That is the directive that.
But wait a minute, Sandra.
That is what is
that has
expected.
ever happened.
And then, once the information is provided, then we put that information in a way that can communicate. Because remember, you have perhaps the implementing institution has technical people. Yeah, you do not expect the president to go communicate technical terms. So that has to be placed in a manner that is communicatable, if I can use the word. So it is understanding the vision, mission, purpose, personality of the person you're writing for. And then putting that in a way that the person who's going to be communicating it is able to also read and understand and appreciate. And in various instances, because it's a teamwork, you'll have it has to pass through other hands. And most times, or all times, gets to the president, and then he can look through it and say, this is exactly what I want to communicate.
So they have to go through the whole speech again?
Yes. Okay. I mean, he's going to be reading it.
How many reviews for him?
Reviews?
Okay, let me ask this. Is there a time that a president was given a speech to go and read and he had not gone through it?
Oh, that would be terrible.
But has it ever happened?
No.
So they have to pass through maybe the first review. They say, okay, this sounds good, but I don't think it's ready for the public. Maybe go review this, and then you go again, write it.
Let's say that he at least has to know what it is exactly that he's going to.
Okay.
But because then that creates the impression that he's on remote control or on autopilot, which
is not a good thing.
Which of course is not the right image. So of course he knows what is talked. He's going to be reading. He knows exactly what is being talked about, because remember again, this is his vision way before he even got into office. So he has an idea of what he expects.
In different region, there's what he promised.
Yes, there's what he promised. He promised within his manifesto. There's what he knows is expected, and he knows what the Ministry of Housing, what the Ministry of Health is supposed, and whatever partnerships are supposed to come out. So what you put on paper, again, that is why it is teamwork. Has to go through various other. It's not 10 of them, but maybe one or two other people, so that you give it different eyes before it gets to him.
Yes.
And in other instances, like I said this in an interview earlier on, where a speechwriter can work directly with the president.
Okay.
Yeah, in other instances. But then you have other places where, like us now, write the speech, or during our time, you write the speech and then you have other people look at it and it gets to him and he approves one or two things here and there and he reads it. So there are instances where it could go word for word. Like I remember, word for word. Like I remember the first speech I wrote, I was so excited. I waited for when he was going to read. I was like this with pen and paper.
So you could follow word for word?
Yes, word for word. And
did you have a copy?
I did.
Okay. So it was really exciting.
And then and then in other instances, it just won't be used because maybe the environment does not allow. Say if it was going to open a market, or to open a market, for instance, and then he gets there and the way people say goes off cuff. Goes off because the environment dictates that it goes off cuff. Then,
the situation on the ground.
The situation on the ground speaks.
And that's why I asked this,
so then he's not.
Though you ran away from this question, and I remember this with roads. I think even I remember, if my mind serves me well, there was a time that he said that what is being built should stop and we complete the existing projects. it was a situation where you could launch something. Then when he say like, this will be complete in 6 months or whatever. And there was so much of that. And then when you see the projects not complete, so even it's really hard for him to go back there and say, we promised this, we have delivered, we are launching it. For whatever reason. And has that happened several times?
Not really. I mean, looking at, unless now we are not benchmarking, but we are marking the performance of the previous regime, which is a totally different discussion.
But there's never been a scenario where the speech was written that this has been done and it has not been done.
No,
okay.
at least
Fair
not
enough.
that time. At least not
Fair
the one
enough.
that I
This is
know
why
of.
we
And
tell
that-
the way it is.
Yes, and
actually,
and that is why that research is important.
True.
And dealing with facts is important, so that you don't go do research on Google and you go to the ministries, you go to the concerned implementing institutions to get facts of what is happening on the ground, what is being delivered. Is it in line with the presidential directive? Is it in line with the president's vision? And then how can this be packaged in a manner that is going to communicate? So that if you're talking roads, there are certain terms that even for me I will not understand.
Yeah.
So then we have to collaborate, and then you tell me,
Is it
engineer,
the right one? Yeah.
engineer, what does this mean? Yeah. So that, because the president might understand.
Yeah.
He knows it because these are discussions he has with the minister.
Yeah.
These are discussions that he has during the development meetings.
Yeah.
But then will the common mwananchi understand? Because the language that the common mwananchi speaks has to be as clear as possible.
Yes.
Or else you either do not communicate and you appear too aloof.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you end up being misquoted, which is not what you want.
True.
Because then speech writing, again, is a way of ensuring that you are communicating and you are connecting with the people that you're leading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So you are writing for the president. Did you live in State House, or you just lived in the in a faraway place? Like where do these people who write speeches live?
We live in our own homes.
Oh, but where do you report at?
State House at that particular point, yes.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
But what if the president... These actually are two coin questions. So what if president has to travel, say, abruptly, for whatever reason, and you're not there? What happens? Like, how is that scenario? Are you called?
Yeah, it's a job like any other. The way I'd wake up in the morning and I go to my 8 to 5 job. That's my 8 to 5 job. Yeah. So if the diary says today it's an event in, say, Mombasa over ABCD, then I have to be available to do my job.
Okay.
Yeah, and deliver on that speech.
Okay.
There are others that are scheduled, like international events, like the recent one and General Assembly, one called UNGA. You know very well as a team that's managing this agenda or assisting the president. You know very well that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So you plan around it.
Yeah.
You do your research early. You ensure that this is early and they are looked through and approved in good time.
Yeah.
The others that are urgent also, that is why thankfully it's a team.
Yeah.
Then you must find a way of dealing with it.
Okay.
And I can say it's not, you would say 8 to 5, but you cannot go to bed when your boss is awake.
Oh, okay.
And I think that is everywhere. So if he's working 6 to 6, you must also be available 6 to 6.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if there's a meeting...
Or should I say, where?
Because if there's a meeting at 6, then he has to go to another one, there's another one, and another one, and he needs speeches.
And he can't repeat the same
Yeah,
speech.
you can't repeat the same speech. You're not going to say that.
So as he's
because
reading one, you're writing the other one.
Yes, depending on what's required.
Yeah. And is there a time where the president writes his speech?
Why would we want to burden him?
Oh, okay.
Why would you want to burden him with that? He's a busy man,
Okay.
one,
Okay.
and he has a lot to do, and he has people who can do that.
Oh, okay.
So let us leave him with the decision making big decisions for the country,
Yeah.
and then I think it's like a boss anywhere else, but this is at a higher level because he's the president. There are certain things you don't expect him to. You bring in your knowledge and expertise, and you support him or her in delivering what needs to be. Okay. So you appear, you do your job, and you do it as best as you can.
Ah, nice, nice. One day maybe I should consider running for office.
So you have someone doing your speeches. That's nice.
And everything else. There are so many things that I've had done for the president. Like, I think I should consider this position, you know. And I hear the budget is also good. You know, when you have a good budget, also you relax and you're able to do a lot. Maybe hire people to even, I don't know, ghostwriters. You know, there are so many things that you can do actually.
But trust me, it's a very, you might think it's easy, but it's very.
Nothing is easy in this world.
It's very demanding.
Sandra, there's nothing that is easy in this world. So I've never had any single person I've ever met in my entire life that says, you know what, I'm having everything easy.
Yeah.
Nothing. So
it's crazy.
Considering that, so options are open. And anyone who is listening to me, run for office. Yeah.